Hi everyone, welcome to the first reading of the online book launch. I'm going to be reading to you first up an excerpt from the title story, The New Neighbours. But before I do that, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background to the story. So I started writing what is now the story, The New Neighbours, quite a few years ago, but I did put the story away for a long time before pulling it out again with the intention to include it in this particular short story collection. It was quite a challenging experience to write this story. Once I started, a lot of different concepts started to come to mind, so it went through a lot of development and rewriting, which is why it has an extra special place in my heart and why I also chose it to be the title story of this collection. So the premise of the story, it takes place in an undisclosed suburb on a street named Maple Avenue. Now, on Maple Avenue lives a woman named Carol with her teenage son Michael. A new neighbour named Mr. Linden moves in next door to Carol and Michael, and he reveals himself to be an increasingly sinister character. The excerpt that I'm going to be reading to you today is from a interaction that Michael has with Mr. Linden when he kicks his football over the fence into Mr. Linden's yard. So I'll start the reading. I've been practicing all morning. I apologise for any stumbles here and there, but I have been practicing. So hopefully that won't happen. Okay, here we go. The brown football with white crisscross laces held a tainted significance for Michael. There were the warm memories of the afternoons spent playing catch with his father, which were followed closely by the aching sadness of his passing. Michael frequently took the ball into the yard with his best friend Jacob, but it just wasn't the same. Jacob held the ball at arm's length, preparing for a run-up. Michael raised his hands and tipped his head back, stumbling as the ball sailed over his head and across the fence. "Jacob!" Balancing unsteadily in Jacob's hands, Michael pulled himself up against the timber palings and peered over the fence. "I can see it," he grunted. Jacob let him back down to the ground. "I won't be able to get back over the fence from that side," Michael said. "I'll have to go and ask for it back." Mr. Linden arrived home at dusk, and Michael made his move with Jacob in tow. "Where are you going, boys?" Carol hollered from the kitchen. "Next door to get my football back," Michael shouted over his shoulder. Carol clicked her tongue. Again? The two boys hurried into the neighbouring yard and up the front steps to the porch. Michael knocked on the front door and Mr. Linden answered. "Hi, sir. Sorry, we kicked our ball into your yard this afternoon, and I was wondering if we could get it back." "I'm having dinner," Mr. Linden grumbled. "I'm sorry, sir. It's just the ball is really important to me." "Well, then perhaps you should be more careful with it." Mr. Linden abruptly closed the door, and Michael huffed loudly, throwing his head back as he stormed home. "Mr. Linden won't give me my ball back," he exclaimed as he burst into the living room. Carol looked up from the couch. "You remember how annoyed Hazel used to get when she lived there? She held onto your ball a few times too. But just give it a few days. He's probably very busy looking after his wife." Up in his bedroom, Michael tried to catch a glimpse of the elusive Mrs. Linden. A light was up in the upstairs bedroom. Downstairs, an empty dinner plate remained on the kitchen table, which was visible through a window. Mr. Linden appeared, stepping out onto the porch. In his hands, he held Michael's football. "He's got it!" Michael watched on, eagerly anticipating Mr. Linden's move towards the fence to toss the ball back over. Instead, Mr. Linden stepped back inside, still clutching the ball. "Bastard!" Michael set the binoculars down, looking at Jacob. "I have to get it back, Jacob. It belonged to my dad." "How are you going to do that?" Michael paused thoughtfully. "Break in." "What?" "We can go in through the basement window." "We?" "You have to help me, Jacob. You threw it over there." "What about his wife?" "Apparently she spends most of the day in bed." Michael said dismissively. "She's in an upstairs bedroom anyway." "I don't know, Michael. What if we get caught?" "We'll go during the day when he's not there." Thanks, guys. Couple of stumbles there, but thanks very much. I hope that you did enjoy the reading as much as I enjoyed writing the story. So it is the title story of The New Neighbours. It's the first in the book, and I hope that you enjoy reading the rest of the story when you get around to it. See you very soon. The next post will be my first special guest author, MC Dalton, at 1 o'clock. See you then.